Hello everyone, my name is Susan Bailey and I would love to take just a couple of minutes to share a very small part of my story with you today. So just a little bit about me. I have a professional background as an elementary school teacher and also as a physical therapist assistant. I'm also mom of three, and I was actually introduced to the Plexus supplements about 4.5 years ago, which was such a blessing that it entered my life at the time it did, because I had really reached a point where I was really struggling in both my life and my health. And for those of you who are also mom, you probably know that it's not hard at all to put yourself on the back burner. It's also usually not an option to check out on those days that you're not feeling well. And I had done that for a very long time. And as a result, I really found my health starting to suffer both physically and mentally. And so what that looked like for me is I was dealing with almost everyday headaches, which would often turn into migraines unless I was popping ibuprofen like candy on about a daily basis. My nightly routine was insomnia unless I was taking over-the-counter or prescription sleep aids. Digestively, I was all over the place dealing with things like frequent cramping and bloating and just swings back and forth in the bathroom. And I would crash all the time, energy-wise, in the afternoon and in the evenings. I was also having really odd symptoms like heart palpitations or also shortness of breath. And along with that, I was also dealing with gradual weight gain, which didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me because I've always been a very avid runner. I also try to eat really clean, except for back then I was dealing with a pretty mean sweet tooth, which would like to sneak in the evenings. But I think probably the thing that caught my attention the most is when I had a bout with depression and also starting to struggle with some feelings of anxiety, because that was so out of character for me, had never been a part of my health history before. So I just knew that something was off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And when I go to my doctor and I would hear that all my labs would come back normal, they would tell me I was healthy. But the problem was I didn't feel healthy. And so that's about when Plexus entered the picture for me. And I started learning about things like gut health and blood sugar regulation and how systemic inflammation can really affect our bodies. And so all of the pieces really started coming together in my mind as I realized that pretty much everything that I was dealing with could be attributed to either one or more of those things that I mentioned. And so I jumped in. And I'm so grateful that I did and that God put it in my path when He did, because I found that primarily over the course of the first year, all of those things I mentioned were either gradually resolved completely or they were greatly improved to the point where they just weren't really issues anymore. And so I am just so thankful that I'm now in a place where I just feel like I'm thriving. I'm not surviving anymore. And that I really just feel like myself again, that I can be the kind of mom and wife and daughter and sister and friend that I really want to be, just because I'm feeling my very best. And so some extra bonuses have actually come along with my own health victories. Not long after it began, I actually started many of my other family members on the supplements as well. And so since starting them on the products, my two oldest kids now are off all of their allergy shots and medications that they were previously using to manage their seasonal allergies. My husband has resolved his chronic heartburn. He's completely off all of his prescription antacids, and all of our immunity is just so much better. And we are just no longer that family that's missing out on holiday gatherings or the special things because someone is sick. And so all in all, we are in just such a different place. And I am just so thankful for these amazing tools that really help us fill in the gaps so that our bodies can function the way that they were created to. And so I hope this encourages your heart in some way today. And thank you so much for letting me share.